in and out. Also request all the members who joined us late to please keep their mobile phones on silent mode. Contestant number 7, Ruddra Dev Roychoudhary. Feed the child, Ruddra Dev Roychoudhary.
In this life, I've made a lot of progress. You see, I'm a 25-year-old bachelor who's already a father. But I'm not talking about real children. No. I'm talking about the child that is within all of us. Our inner child. But the irony is that it is also just as real. Do you remember as children, all we ever wanted to do was... But as we grow, sometimes we stop listening to the child within. And we start worrying more about the people outside. Just a small reminder of how different we are today as adults compared to how we were as children. Mr. Contest Chair, fellow fathers and mothers of your inner child. See, when I was a little boy, I loved to draw. I could draw anywhere. On the floor, on the walls, on people's faces. But by age 7, I realized that not everyone saw me as Pablo Picasso. My classmates pushed me, taunted me, but it didn't matter. Because to me, art was my life. Until one day, when I returned to class to see my favorite box of crayons broken into tiny pieces. A little voice inside me said, "Let it out. Sometimes it's okay to cry when you're sad." And teardrops trickled down my cheeks like a mighty stream, and it felt good. But my teacher disagreed. Mr. Hitler walked up from behind and he said, "Boys don't cry, especially big boys like you. If you want to grow up, then you need to learn to stop crying." Well, okay, I thought. That's a small price to pay to be a big boy. So that day I stopped feeding that little artist in me. And it stopped feeding me back with joy. But in college, I met my ultimate passion. I was so consumed by it that I went and told my father that I want a career in this. My father was genuinely happy in my dreams. We fought every day because he wanted me to do a government job. One day, we had this huge fight. And I took up an internship on the other side of the country just to stay away. A month later, I called him up to ask for money. "Hey, Dad, just wanted to ask you..." "Dad? What's wrong?" "I don't know. I don't feel good." I took the first train back home and I saw that there he was, lying on the bed, unable to get up, unable to speak. He had become so weak that just looking at him, I wanted to cry. I needed to cry. But this time, there was no voice that said, let it out. Sometimes it's okay to cry when you're sad. Because long ago, I had paid a small price to be a big boy. My father lost his job because of his illness. I lost my internship because I came back. And we both stopped feeding the little dreamer in us, the one that fed us back with hope. You see, the child within does not die overnight. It dies little by little. As we let go of each hope, one by one, until one day, there are none. I too ignored my inner child for a long time. Until one day, when I met a very strange girl in an even stranger place, an art museum. Now, the museum ticket had a picture of Mona Lisa on them. She looked at it and said, you know, this girl needs a little makeup. So she took out a pen and she drew a beard on her. Now, that's not all. Then she passed me the ticket and said, go on, try a mustache. Everybody was staring. And then a little voice inside me again said, Ruddra, draw. Draw I did. And just like you that day, I too laughed. Because after a long time, we were not adults anymore. We were 2 5-year-olds, holding hands, having fun, helping the artist in us heal. And when she held my hand, the child in us held hands too. Now, every day when I'm cooped up in my room pursuing my passion, my father walks up on me, asks me about it. In our shared conversations, we began stitching back our differences. I held his hand, and the child in us held hands too. What is the child in you doing? Is it happy, or is it scared and hiding from people? Feed that child in you that cries your tears and celebrates your joy. Feed that child in you that gives you hope, even in the face of despair. Feed that child in you that can love without conditions, without bounds, and without expectations, even if they don't brush their teeth. Feed the child in you today, because tomorrow may be too late. Artist chair.
Please maintain 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark the ballot.